What if I told you that the reason you haven't changed your life isn't discipline, motivation, or willpower, but an invisible goal that your mind is working towards? Why do we set new goals, new intentions, and yet keep repeating our same old patterns? Think about the goals that we've set for 2025. How many have actually moved? For most people, very few. And we can blame motivation, discipline, or consistency, but that's not the real reason. There's something much deeper that's running the show, and we're barely even aware of it. And if we can demystify this and understand this, we can finally exit the loop. The overthinking, the anxiety, the intention to change with no real progress. In this video, I'll break down the psychology of why this happens and how we can finally take charge of our destiny. When we have a genuine intention, why don't we act on it? Because intention alone doesn't run our life. Your life is largely run by what I call your autopilot software or operating system. This software, also known as karma, conditioning, subconscious programming, creates the thoughts, emotions, and impulses that you experience every day. And these aren't random. According to Alfred Adler, one of the pioneers of modern psychology, they are perfectly organized to make specific goals happen. But here's what's interesting. These are not goals that you've consciously set, but rather these are goals that have been tuned into your subconscious. So if you feel stuck, looping, frozen, or spiraling, it doesn't mean something is wrong with you. It actually means your internal software is working brilliantly. It's organizing your thoughts and emotions around goals like stay safe, avoid fear, protect your reputation, choose familiarity over uncertainty, choose comfort. And unless the software changes, more or less, your destiny will simply be a natural output of this. So let's explore this further. How does this software get installed in the first place? You may be thinking, why on this planet would I ever choose such a goal? It happens over time and mostly without us being aware of it. As you grow from a child to an adult, your reactions to experiences get saved as default responses. For example, maybe you auditioned for your school dance team. You didn't make it and it felt humiliating or painful. So that experience gets logged into your system. Doing this equals pain. Avoid. And over time, these reactions become subconscious. If avoiding pain becomes the goal, your mind will brilliantly generate thoughts, emotions, and all sorts of justifications to stop you from taking action in that direction. So think that's why you get overthinking, doubt, and other rational excuses when you're about to take action. It's not because your mind is broken or it's evil or it's against you, but because it's an incredibly intelligent tool doing exactly what it's designed to do. Think about it like a missile that's programmed to achieve a certain goal. It's just moving towards that goal. Okay, so fast forward to adulthood. Now you want to start a business, learn a new skill, maybe put yourself out there creatively, or change your life in some meaningful way. But these things again trigger uncertainty, discomfort, possibility of failure. And so your operating system steps in again with the same goal. So if your subconscious goal is still avoid pain, your mind is going to organize itself against moving towards any of these goals. And that's because your conscious goals haven't yet penetrated into your subconscious programming because your actions don't match your intent. And so the loop continues. You want to change, but your system is optimized for safety and to keep you protected. So how do we actually change the system? Most of us wait for clarity, motivation, or some sort of confidence before we take action. But that never comes because the feelings are produced by our old system. And so here is the counterintuitive truth to actually rewiring your system. Take action first and change the feeling after. This is brilliantly explained by Dr. Russ Harris in his book, The Confidence Gap, which I highly recommend reading if you haven't already. When you take action despite discomfort, the feelings that arise afterwards are different, especially when your actions align with your values. So when you take courageous actions towards goals that are important to you, you feel alignment, you feel alive, you feel momentum, you feel inspiration, a sense of self-trust, pride for showing up. And over time, as you keep repeating these actions, your brain is actually rewiring to replace your old system of anxiety and fear with these new positive feelings. And that's how the system gets rewritten. That's how you upgrade your autopilot software, by taking action despite the discomfort so that your feelings can get rewired for those same actions. The temporary pain is there until you upgrade your old operating system to the new one. The biggest mistake we make when trying to change our lives or to meet a big goal is to rely on thinking to make it happen. We believe everything we think and feel must be true. Otherwise, why would we think it? But now we know that most of what we think and feel isn't necessarily true. Remember, your thoughts and emotions are largely generated in service of your subconscious goals. So if you believe them, or if you fight them, you're right back in the trap. Which raises an important question. How do we take action without being hijacked by our outdated thinking? And this is where the no choice plan comes in. It's the most practical way I've found to rewire your subconscious to work for you in alignment of the goals that you consciously want. So the core idea is simple. Since thinking is what derails us from actually taking action towards our goal, what if we remove thinking as an option at the time of action? Remember, thinking and emotions are in service of our previously programmed subconscious. So, in order to reset new goals into our system, we need to bypass these older thoughts and emotions and take action towards our new goals. That is a rewiring process. So, how do we do that? We remove choice from the equation when it's time to take action. When there's no choice or no optionality, there's no room for thinking. You just show up. So, when you plan what you're going to do for that goal, when you're going to do it, and how you're going to do it ahead of time, it's easy to show up. Or let's just say it's easier to show up for those goals. So here's how it works. Step one, choose a goal you want your system to organize around. It could be fitness, it could be a business you want to start, it could be a creative adventure you want to undertake. Anything meaningful to you that you've not been able to make meaningful progress on. Step two, break it down into simple, repeatable steps. And that could just be showing up for 2 hours, 3 times a week. Step three, we're going to schedule those actions into your calendar with ample time for you to show up for them. And we're going to make the what, when, and how extremely easy. Which brings me to point 4, which is remove friction. Prep in advance before you want to show up and make it extremely easy to show up. And then step 5 is just show up. Just follow your calendar. There's no reason to think. There's no reason to argue or debate. Everything is pre-planned, so you just show up. You remove thinking from the equation. It's deceptively simple, but it's a powerful way to actually reprogram your subconscious mind. Over time, your system learns that this is who you are now and starts working for you towards the goals you actually want. Ironically, giving your mind no choice is how you lead life to your highest potential and to the highest freedom. If you want a free step-by-step guide to setting up the no choice plan for your goals, download the free PDF linked in the description. It's the exact framework I have used to move forward on several of my goals and to rewire the system to work for me rather than against me. I've also included some tips to avoid some common traps and how to actually make the system stick. Give it a shot and let me know what you think of it in the comments below. I hope you found this helpful. If so, please do consider subscribing. On this channel, I explore how to get unstuck, I explore mind traps, and also how to train our minds to work for us and not against us. Have a wonderful day, and thank you for watching.